We spend thousands of dollars on rifles, optics, and SHTF gear. But let's face it, most of us are walking around with a $5 Band-Aid kit to a trauma fight. Let's face it, if the door gets kicked in or there's a major accident on the expressway, your $5 tactical patch kit isn't gonna cut it. So today on Wolverine Prepper, we're gonna cut through the dead weight and we're gonna see what EMTs and first responders in our community say the 5 things that are the most important to carry that actually save lives. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad to be back. As I said in my short, I've been sick. I lost my voice. My voice is still not 100% back, but I wanted to get back to it. I wanted to make a video and I wanted to talk to you guys. So we're going to talk about these 5 things, and there's going to be maybe some extras that I think since I started developing this video, I think are maybe important to carry, but aren't vital to carry, but they could help other people if in need. So let's get into the first thing. First thing on the list, non-negotiable, tourniquets. Now, as you can see, I have a cat tourniquet and a rat's tourniquet here that are in this bag that I have. First things first, we do not want to be buying cheap knockoff tourniquets on Amazon. Buy a real, made in America, trusted, reliable sourced tourniquet. I also have a rat's tourniquet. Not just own them, but train and learn how to use them. That is the most important thing, is that you know how to effectively and accurately use these so that you can either save your life or someone else's life. Now, I would say that you want to probably carry as many tourniquets as you have limbs, but if you're carrying just a small bag, one tourniquet or one of these tourniquets and a rat's tourniquet, and they can save a life. Number 2 on my list, 2 vented chest seals. This is so important. If you have a hole that needs to be plugged, that's through and through, this is really going to buy time until you can get real, actual medical attention, whether it's for you or, like I said, in a scenario, you're on the expressway, there's an accident, there's some type of situation, and you are the first responder when calling 911. You're going to want to try to do everything that you can to help that person. So vented chest seal is number 2. Have 2 of them, because if there is a through and through, you're going to need both of them. Number 3 on my list, hemostatic gauze, like these quick clot gauze. When someone may have a deep arterial bleed that a tourniquet can't fix, you're going to need something that's going to be able to help clot blood and be able to stick into the wound so that you can get pressure on that wound and you can stop the bleeding. The hemostatic agent on here will help the quickening of the clotting of the blood, and that is going to be the difference between life and death potentially. Number 4 on my list, pressure gauze, or these compressed gauze. These are so important for wound packing. When you have a wound that can't be touched by a tourniquet, you're going to need gauze that you can pack deep into that wound to put pressure on the artery or whatever is bleeding heavily, so you can try to get that bleeding to stop long enough for the actual paramedics or whomever are coming from 911 to come and help assist. Now, I know we want to always have things ready and prepped to go, but these and the hemostatic gauze, these are 2 things that I'm going to tell you, keep packaged just like this until you're ready to use them. That way they're sterile and they're ready to go. And number 5 on my list, and probably the cheapest item on this table, you can actually buy them in abundance at Dollar Tree, nitrile gloves. This is going to be so important to protect you, especially if you're dealing with bleeding and you may have cuts or whatever on your hands. You don't want to get anything that could be in contaminated blood into your body. And it also helps that person. If you have something that you're not aware of, you don't want to contaminate that person. In the medical world, they use the terminology BSI, body substance isolation. I would have as many of these as you can, preferably even 3 or 4 in your pack or in your pouch. That way, if there's multiple people that you need to help and address, you can switch out those gloves as needed. Or even if you need to go handle something else and then come back to that person, you have a new, clean, fresh pair of gloves. Again, I would keep these packaged and sealed. That way they're staying sterile and you're not getting anything on them that you could then infect another person. All right, a few things that I wanted to kind of put in here that are good to haves, but I don't know if are necessarily vital. First is some type of wrap. So if you're in that situation where you need to use packing gauze or you need to use a hemostatic gauze, this is going to be a great thing to have. This is going to be able to wrap around that wound, hopefully, and it's going to be able to keep everything in place and then keep infection from getting in. Again, like the gauze, I know we like to prep everything and have everything staged for when we need to use it. I would keep these wrapped just so they don't get any type of contaminant on them and you're not infecting someone. But this is a really good to have. That way you're keeping everything together and wrapped and pressed. You're doing everything that you can to help that person until the paramedics or whomever are coming to help come to help. The second good to have that I think you should really get is a good pair of medical shears. So this is great if you need to get to a body part that's being covered by clothing. You can cut pants, shirt, or maybe you don't have a wrap bandage and you need to tie something to those gauze. You can cut your shirt, you can cut their shirt, you can cut any type of fabric. Anything that you're going to need to cut in a medical sense, these are going to be what you want to have. I would invest in some good shears, something that's not going to go dull and something that's going to cut when you need them to cut. Now, this one is something that I've recently kind of changed how I see carrying it. We're dealing with a lot of issues with even accidental fentanyl overdose in the United States. So I actually think it's a great idea to carry some Narcan with you. That way, if you run into someone who has overdosed on fentanyl or any opioids, this could actually save a life. And like I said, we're dealing with, in our day and time right now, with how the border had been wide open for 4 years, fentanyl has flooded our streets, and there are people dying every day from accidental fentanyl overdose. I think this is going to be a great thing to carry in your kit. Like I said, it's not a must-have, but this is a great to have. I know, and you can look at your state or your county, a lot of counties and a lot of states are keeping containers where you can actually get these for free and carry them on you. So that's going to be my last good to have. So I've been kind of carrying around this Maxpedition, the larger platy bag, and I really, before I even started developing this video, I thought it would be really cool to make this into like a quick first aid or trauma response pouch. So for this video, I actually did that. You could use whatever you want. I know some people recommend when you're wearing pants, the ankle strap that you strap around your ankle, but I thought it'd be cool to kind of see if I could fit it all in here, and I did, and it definitely is larger than I had thought it would be, but it is possible if you want to throw this in your backpack or whatever, and you have a very quick trauma kit that is all the things that you need, plus those little extras that I talked about. Gear is just a security blanket if you're not actually trained to use it. If you don't know how to use any of the items we talked about today, go find in your local area a Stop the Bleed course so you can learn how to use these items and learn how to use them correctly by trained professionals. Now, I know we have some veteran EMTs and street medics in the Wolverine prepper community. What is the one thing that I missed that you use in real life? Let's hear about it in the comments below. And to the rest of the community, let's keep this conversation going. What are you carrying every day as your must-have medical equipment in your daily prep? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, do all the algorithm things, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I make a new video. If you see that hype button, go ahead and click it. That's going to let YouTube's algorithm know that this is the kind of content that they should be spreading to other people. But that's going to be it for us today. I want to thank everyone for their continued support and being a part of the Wolverine Prepper community. I'm Paul from Wolverine Prepper. Don't just get prepared, stay prepared. God bless you. and God bless the Republic.